Happy morning, dear children. Welcome back to your English class after a long time. I hope that you all enjoyed your summer holidays at home and you were taking good care of your health. Dear children, let us get back to our studies. Today, we will be learning about our chapter 5, The Mice That Ate Iron. Have you ever heard that a mice is eating an iron? क्या आपने कभी ऐसा सुना है? No, dear children, it is not like this, right? Dear children, this story is about two friends, Nanduk and Lakshman. Nanduk was a businessman. So once he was facing a lot of problems in his business. So he decided to go elsewhere to follow his new path and to have a good future and a good luck. He sold everything he had, but except one thing, he had an iron pole with him and it was really of a very good value. So he decided that he will give it to Lakshman so that he can take care of that iron bar, and when he comes back he will take that iron bar back. But Lakshman became very greedy. So he told a lie to him that the mouse ate that iron bar you gave me. So now what can we do? With this, Nanduk decided to teach a lesson to Lakshman. So Nanduk took his son to his house and he imprisoned him. And later, what happened? We will see it and we will have a lot of fun in this story. The moral of the story over here is that we should always be honest with our family members, with our friends, with each and every around us. Okay, dear children? So, let us watch the story.
Chapter 5. The Mice That Ate Iron. Once there was a rich merchant called Nanduk. As time went by, his business became so bad that he not only lost money but also got into debt. Nanduk was unhappy. It was no use staying in the city any longer, so he decided to go on a long journey to try his luck elsewhere. He had to sell almost everything he had in order to pay off his debts. All that he was left with, which was of some value, was a heavy iron beam. Before leaving, Nanduk went to see his good friend Lakshman. He was sorry to hear of Nanduk's misfortune and unhappy that he was going away. "Is there anything I can do for you, my friend?" he asked. "Well," replied Nanduk, "I have a very heavy iron beam which I would like to leave with you. Will you keep it for me till I return?"
So, dear children, as we saw earlier, Nanduk had a very big iron bar. It is like a pole and it is known as an iron beam. Okay, वो बहुत बड़ा object होता है, वो बहुत बड़ा substance होता है which is made up of fully iron. Okay, it is a very huge bar and it is known as an iron beam. Now let us see what happens next.
"Turn, is that all?" said Lakshman. "No doubt, I will keep it for you. You can be sure that the beam will be quite safe with me. I shall give it back to you whenever you want it." Nanduk thanked his friend and went home. A few days later, he left the city.
So, dear children, do you think Lakshman will keep his word? He promised Nanduk that he will take care of that iron beam. Now, वो उसका सच में ख्याल रखेंगे or he will become greedy. Let us see what happens next in the story.
carrying on his trade. He was lucky, for he did good business and soon became rich again. He then returned to his hometown with plenty of money. He bought a new house and started his business in a big way. After some time, he went to visit his friend, Lakshman. Lakshman was glad to see Naduk and welcomed him warmly. They talked of Naduk's travels abroad and his business. Later, as he was about to leave, Naduk said, "Now that I am here, may I have my iron beam back?" Lakshman looked very worried. He had no intention of returning the beam because he knew it would fetch a good price if he were to sell it. So he said, "I don't know how to tell you this. Something bad has happened. I put the beam safely in my storeroom, but now I find that mice have eaten it. I'm really very sorry. Beans of that kind are difficult to get, or I would have bought another for you." "Please don't feel bad about it," said Nadu. "It was not your fault that the mice ate up my bean. This just goes to show that nothing lasts forever." As he was leaving, he said, "By the way, Lakshman, I have a present for you which I bought during my travels. Will you ask your son Ramu to come home with me? I will send it back with him."
Do you think Nanduk really has a present? Or do you think that Nanduk knows Lakshman is lying and he wants to teach him a lesson? Let us see what happens in the story.
Lakshman felt very guilty. Not only had he got away with his lie, but Naduk seemed to believe him. At the same time, he was anxious to see what his friend had got for him. So he called Ram and asked him to go along with Naduk. Naduk took the boy home. He led him to the cellar of his house, locked him in, and went about his work. When Ramu did not return home by evening, his father got worried. He went to Nadu and asked him where the boy was. "Something terrible happened when we were on our way here," replied Nadu. "A hawk swooped down and carried him off before I could do anything." "That is a lie," shouted Lakshman. "How can a bird carry off a 15-year-old boy?" A quarrel started between Nadu and Lakshman. A big crowd gathered as the two men shouted at each other. Finally, they decided to go to court. As soon as they entered the magistrate's room, Lakshman cried, "Your Honor, this man has stolen my son. Please ask him to give me back my boy." The magistrate ordered Naduk to do so. Naduk said, "Sir, how can I, when before my very eyes a hawk carried off the boy? What could I do?" "You are a liar," shouted the magistrate. "How can a bird fly off with a boy?" To this Naduk replied, "If the mice at Lakshman's place can eat up an iron beam, then a hawk can carry off a boy."
Which of the following can replace the phrase carry off in the above line? Carry off means take away. So now let us see how the story concludes. Will Nanduk get justice? Let us see.
Right? The magistrate wanted to know what it was all about. Nanduk related the whole story. The people in the courtroom had a good laugh. The magistrate then ordered Lakshman to return the iron beam to Nanduk, and Nanduk to return Lakshman's son.
So, dear children, we should always be honest. We should never lie, because if we will lie, somewhere something bad can happen to us sooner or later. So, we should better be honest in our work and in each and every activity we do in our life, right? Now, dear children, open up your textbook. We will be discussing some multiple choice questions. Let us see the exercise.
Tick the correct answer and win a star.
Read the question very carefully, dear children. Nanduk decided to go on a long journey in order to relax, try his luck elsewhere, or have fun with his friends. He was facing huge loss in his business, so he decided to try his luck elsewhere.
So he decided to go on a long journey to try his luck elsewhere.
Number 2 is Lakshman did not want to return the beam because he had lost it. It could get him a good price, or it was eaten by a mice. He was very greedy about the iron beam, so he decided not to return it because it will get him some good money.
He had no intention of returning the beam because he knew it would fetch a good price if he were to sell it.
Next one, Nanduk took Ramu along with him to pamper him, to beat him, or teach Lakshman a lesson. The third one is correct.
Not only had he got away with his lie, but Nanduk seemed to believe him.
So, dear children, here we are done with our story, The Mice That Ate Iron. In the next class, we will be discussing about the new words from my dictionary of this lesson. Till then, read it and always be honest. Take care, dear children. God bless you all.